quarter 2021 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. After the prepared remarks, we will conduct a question and answer session. In order to ask a question or make a comment, please press the star key followed by the number 1 on your touch-tone phone at any time. Questions will be in the order they are received. At this time, I'd like to turn the call over to Mike Legg, Chief Communications Officer of Voyager. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, operator. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Voyager Digital earnings call. Today, we will be discussing our fiscal 2021 third quarter results, which we announced after the market closed this afternoon. With me on the call are Steve Ehrlich, our Chief Executive Officer, Evan Psaropoulos, Chief Financial Officer, Gerard Hansen, Chief Operating Officer, and Dan Costantino, our Chief Information Security Officer. I would like to take a moment to direct investors to the Investor Relations section of our website at investvoyager.com. We have posted our investor presentation and upcoming event schedule, as well as our latest announcements on selected unaudited operating metrics and activities. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that certain statements discussed on this call are based on information as of today, May 25th, and may contain forward-looking statements which are subject to risks and uncertainties. And given our limited operating history, market volatility, and unprecedented industry growth, trends could materially deviate from today's levels. Actual results could differ materially from our forward-looking statements if any of our key assumptions discussed in today's earnings press release and the comments made during this conference call or in our latest reports and SEDAR filings, each of which can be found on our website, www.investvoyager.com, or under our profile at www.sedar.com, are incorrect. The company has made assumptions that no significant events occur outside of the company's normal course of business and that current trends in adoption of crypto assets continue. Listeners are cautioned that assets under management and trading volumes fluctuate and may increase and decrease from time to time, and that such fluctuations are beyond the company's control. We do not undertake any duty to update any forward-looking statements except where required by law. Today's release also includes references to non-IFRS financial measures. You should refer to the information contained in the disclosures found in today's release, including definitional information and reconciliations of historical non-IFRS measures to the comparable IFRS financial measures. This call will touch on some guidance provided in our earnings press release issued today. I would encourage each of you to review the forward-looking statement, risk factor disclosure, and similar disclosures in today's press release. Please note the dollar amounts referenced are in U.S. dollars unless otherwise noted. With that, let me turn the call over to Steve Ehrlich, Voyager's co-founder and CEO.
Thanks, Mike, and good afternoon, everyone. I will be discussing highlights from the exceptional March quarter, updating you on some key developments, and reviewing our future strategic focus as we expect to capitalize on the opportunities ahead. Afterwards, Evan will walk us through the financial highlights for the period, and then we will open up the call for your questions. Our fiscal third quarter ending in March was record-breaking for Voyager, and what we believe is just the beginning of what you will see from us in the future. I say that because the momentum we saw in the March quarter has continued throughout our fiscal 2021 fourth quarter to date, as we continue to see an acceleration in all of our key metrics. For the fiscal third quarter, we reported record revenue of $60 million, with operating income of $30 million for a 50% operating margin. Additionally, we continue to see basis points per trade rise as altcoin volume contributed 85% of our spread revenue, with Bitcoin and Ethereum contributing just 15% of our spread revenue. Basis points are currently trending higher, highlighting the dominance of altcoins on our platform. Operationally, this focus on a wide range of coins has contributed to a long-term economic model that we believe is among the best in the industry. As we continue to add retail customers and see further revenue growth, we anticipate that our operating margin should also continue to grow accordingly. In short, we have engineered our business so that there is significant opportunity for margin expansion as we continue to scale. With our success to date, I think it's clear that our consumer-friendly, transparent, and easy-to-use platform, with its leading offerings of altcoins and interest-yielding assets, has swiftly positioned Voyager as a leading crypto trading app for the retail consumer. That is our strategy, and it has created a sticky platform attracting active users at record rates. Our focus on a wide range of coins has contributed to a long-term economic model, with the Voyager consumer being highly engaged in trading on average 10 times per month. During the March quarter and in subsequent weeks, Voyager has continued to onboard world-class talent to support its rapid growth, most recently hiring former E-Trade Chief Marketing Officer Pam Kramer and bringing on former Uber executive Acker as our Chief Global Data Officer. I have personally known Pam for more than 15 years, and I'm very excited about her extensive expertise that we can expand our marketing footprint and accelerate our key metrics. I'm also very excited to welcome Acker, who comes to us with over 20 years of industry experience. Having Acker join us to drive and accelerate our competitive differentiation by embedding a state-of-the-art data analytics ecosystem, including machine learning, into the Voyager product suite. This will also fuel Voyager's marketing efforts, as we believe intelligent and personalized marketing is crucial to being an effective marketing organization, and will allow us to continue to be extremely efficient on our cost to acquire accounts. To support our continued growth, as many of you are aware, we raised $146 million during the March quarter. This provides us with an important growth capital, which we will strategically deploy to ramp up our marketing efforts, bolster the technology and capabilities of our platform, and to enhance our customer service team, which will be critical as we continue to onboard new customers at such a record pace. On the marketing front, we are finalizing our search for advertising agencies in branding and creative as we scale out our marketing efforts to increase our market penetration. We have been very effective to date with our marketing strategies and look forward to expanding our footprint in the near future, especially with even deeper data, which again, we believe will enable us to even be more efficient in this regard. As for technology, we have continued to hire new developers and security experts to improve our platform's capabilities and provide even greater security for our customers. We have been very successful attracting top-tier talent from very high-end, blue-chip companies. Like many in our industry, we have experienced some challenges and bumps in the road as we've been scaling our infrastructure, while at the same time significantly increasing our capacity to achieve our near-term goal of supporting 10 million verified users on the Voyager platform. Lastly, on the customer service side, we significantly increased our service team during the third quarter and following weeks. We will continue to scale that team, but more importantly, we will be implementing specific technology and practices to make our service efforts more efficient and user-friendly, with the goal of being the industry leader in service by the end of this calendar year. Another part of Voyager's forward strategy is to develop additional relationships with key strategic partners, specifically to expedite our growth as we focus our efforts on our product development and customer acquisition. As part of this ongoing strategy, we recently announced the following partnerships. A strategic partnership with Blockchain to expand our interest offerings, utilizing their staking capabilities, which reduces our dependency on lending and reduces related counterparty risk. We also recently announced the formation of a joint venture with Market Rebellion to build a full-service broker-dealer, providing Voyager customers the ability to pair cryptos and equities. We showcased our payment processing capabilities through our pending agreement with Lottery.com to integrate our payment processing capabilities into their service, which will enable Lottery.com users to generate payment transactions with crypto assets using the Voyager platform. And lastly, we expanded our custody solutions, engaging a relationship with Anchorage. In addition to these working partnerships, we have also recently made strategic minority investments to expand our capabilities and overall presence in the blockchain spectrum. These include a stake in Blockchain, who I mentioned earlier, another in Secure, our KYC provider, one into Alto IRA, a technology-based platform that will enable Voyager users to open IRA accounts, and another in Particle, an NFT platform. For those not familiar with this, NFTs are blockchain-based records that uniquely represent pieces of media. The media can be anything digital, including art, videos, music, games, text, memes, and code. These and other strategic investments are yet another way that Voyager is expanding its scope throughout the ever-growing digital arena. Taking a step back, I'd like to take a moment and talk about the overall industry environment during the quarter. In Voyager's fiscal third quarter, the crypto market saw significant volatility as the value of Bitcoin and other digital currencies continued to fluctuate quickly, and economies throughout the world continued to reopen, and people adjust to the post-COVID world. However, at Voyager, one of our mantras has always been that market volatility is our friend. Our platform was built to accommodate this, and our risk management procedures allowed Voyager to operate effectively during such volatility. While our percentage of assets lent decreased substantially, we are still subject to counterparty risk. We have seen zero losses on the loan book. We will continue to build our interest offering through staking and expect that will increase in the future. Through all this market volatility, we have successfully managed our exponential growth while safeguarding all our customer assets and personal identifiable information. As we have stated previously, our top priority is keeping our customer assets safe and secure. As noted earlier, we recognize customer support has at times had difficulties in keeping up with the growth of our platform. While this is to be expected with such rapid growth, nevertheless, we are working diligently on improving our customer service efforts, including greater response time by implementing specific technology designed for this purpose, as one of our ultimate goals is to provide the best customer service in the industry. Despite any short-term hurdles along the way, again, overall, I believe we've been extremely successful, as these most recent quarterly results indicate. We continue to be an industry leader by delivering more regulatory compliant coins on the platform, with plans to add more than 20 new coins in the near future. Additionally, we will further expand our interest offerings as we utilize staking capabilities through our relationship with block teaming, continuing to provide the leading platform for earning yield on crypto assets. Looking ahead, over the next 12 months, we plan to increase our payment processing capabilities, as highlighted by our pending transaction with Lottery.com, to allow Voyager power the crypto payment rails for their services. This is only the beginning of our Voyager Pay rollout, as we have additional plans in that space. In addition, we plan to expand internationally to Canada and Europe and further obtain our New York State BIT license. On the product front, we continue to work on debit and credit card offerings and a host of other traditional banking products, including margin, crypto-backed loans, and equity trading. Turning to our own corporate social responsibility initiatives, Voyager recently announced the launch of Voyager for Good, a breakthrough referral program in the cryptocurrency space that awards the charity of an athlete's choice with digital assets each time a new account is opened and traded with a special referral code. To kick this off, we formed a partnership with two-time NBA All-Star Victor Oladipo, who is a charity focused on empowering the next generation of youth, especially young women, to thrive without limits. We expect to continue to partner with prominent affiliates to help position Voyager as the consumer's choice for investing in cryptocurrencies. This expands on Voyager's already popular Refer a Friend referral program. Voyager is also excited by its upcoming token swap, whereby the Voyager community will be swapping its old VGX rewards tokens for the new token, which has staking capabilities and governance. We are working hard with our exchange partners and believe this gets done really soon. The swap will be the next step in the Voyager loyalty program, whereby we continue to deepen our relationships with our community and customers. The plan is to continue to add more rewards to the program as we add products such as equities and debit cards. This has been an eventful couple of weeks for the crypto industry, but the volatility has been very good for the Voyager business. As an agency broker, we excel financially when there is more volatility in the market. We believe that this volatility will continue over the near future and that acceptance is increasing, and looking forward to being able to continue to deliver our product to retail consumers. Recently, we announced a normal course issuer bid under which the company can repurchase up to 5% of its common shares. This gives the company some additional flexibility in managing its market price to more accurately reflect the company's current value and growth projections, and in turn, strengthen shareholder value. The NCIB will commence on May 30th and is scheduled to terminate on May 30th, 2022. In addition to all the operational improvements and the significant growth of the business, we also recently announced some changes to our board. I would like to thank Guy Elliott, Jarrett Lillian, and Jeff Lightfoot for all their guidance to Voyager over the past 2 years. Their presence will be missed. At the same time, I am very excited to welcome Jennifer Acker and Glenn Stevens to our board. Jennifer joins the Voyager board after previously serving 26 years with Raymond James. Having somewhat of Jennifer's experience working with Evan and the board will be invaluable, especially as the accounting standards across the world continue to evaluate this industry. I have personally known Glenn Stevens for many years, and he joined Voyager after being the CEO of Gain Capital, a NASDAQ-listed company, which successfully completed a sale to StoneX, another NASDAQ-listed company. Both Jennifer and Glenn bring unique expertise and insights to our board, and we all look forward to their contributions to Voyager's future growth. In closing, again, when my co-founders and I started this business, we had a vision on how we could grow the company. A little over only 3 years later, we have brought to market a business that now has over 540,000 funded accounts and is growing more every single day. While we all realize the potential of Voyager, I don't think any of us could have dreamed of how rapidly and successfully the business would grow in such a relatively short time. I couldn't be more excited about what we are accomplishing and the wealth we are creating for everyday individuals. The future prospects for Voyager are extremely bright as we continue to execute our game plan. Before I turn the call over to Evan for a financial review, I'm happy to note that Voyager is a proud sponsor of the Bitcoin 2021 conference in Miami, June 4th and 5th. As we have a booth, we're sharing with Market Rebellion. If you plan on being there, please feel free to stop by and say hello to us. With that, I'll turn the call over to Evan to review the quarter and our financial results in more detail.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you all for joining us today. As a reminder, all figures discussed on today's call are in U.S. dollars under IFRS. I will speak to our fiscal 2021 third quarter ended March 31, 2021, as well as selected unaudited metrics and activities from our fiscal 2021 fourth quarter to date, which have been previously disclosed in our press releases and available on our website. We continued our streak with another record quarter, exiting March with an AUM of $2.4 billion, an increase of more than 10x from the end of Q2. We had net deposits of nearly $1.3 billion, which accounted for more than 57% of our AUM growth, with average net daily deposits in excess of $14 million. We were extremely pleased to achieve a positive operating margin for the first time in the third quarter, with $30 million of operating income with an operating margin of 50%, demonstrating scalability of our business and its potential for further margin expansion as we achieve higher revenue. Total revenue for the third quarter increased to $60.4 million from $3.6 million in the second quarter and $282,000 in the same period last year. Fee revenue for the third quarter grew to $53.7 million, along with interest revenue of $6.7 million. Our increased fee revenue was driven by $5 billion of volume for the quarter, compared to volume of $350 million in the fiscal second quarter of this year. Additionally, our average spread increased 70 basis points, or nearly 200% from the prior year, to 107 basis points in the third quarter. This is also a 77% increase from the second quarter. As Steve mentioned, we are seeing tremendous success with our altcoin strategy, with 85% of spread revenue attributed to these coins. Our increase in interest revenue was driven by overall higher AUM, although only 17% of the assets under management were loaned out at the end of March 2021, compared to 65% at the end of December. We are excited about our partnership with Blockdaemon as we look to move more assets to a staking model, allowing us to earn more yield with more interest-bearing coins, while at the same time reducing underlying counterparty risk. Turning to expenses, total operating expenses for the third quarter increased $28.3 million from the prior period. Marketing expenses account for $8.8 million of this increase, with a total of $9 million spent in the quarter, and representing a customer acquisition cost of just under $40 per new funded account. Digital asset interest expense paid for customers was our next largest expense at $7.4 million versus $67,000 spent in the prior year. Additionally, customer onboarding expense increased to $2.7 million compared to $49,000 in the prior period. Lastly, as Steve mentioned, we are rapidly scaling our headcount to support our swift growth, resulting in increased compensation expense of $1.8 million from the prior year. As of March 31, 2021, our cash and cash equivalents, including cash held for customers, exceeded $150 million. Our adjusted working capital, which we define as working capital excluding warrant liability, was nearly $200 million, an increase of $195 million from June 30, 2020. This increase is primarily due to $145 million from the issuance of common stock and special warrants, $5 million from the exercise of warrants, and a $57 million increase in our net digital currencies and fiat position, which represents digital currencies and fiat, as well as digital currencies and fiat on loan, less digital currency loan payable. Given the strong liquidity position, we are well poised to continue our growth throughout the rest of fiscal 2021 and beyond. This concludes our prepared remarks. With that, I will now turn it over to our operator, who will open the line for questions.
As a reminder, to ask a question, you will need to press star 1 on your telephone. To withdraw your question, press the pound key. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. Our first question comes from the line of George Sutton from Craig-Hallum. Your line is now open.
Thank you. As someone who followed Amazon in the early days, this is a little bit like deja vu. At this point in their time frame, they were a bookstore. And I'm curious, with you migrating much beyond your initial initiatives, when we start talking about a lot of these minority investments and we start to talk about a broader roadmap, I wondered if you could give us a picture of what the objectives are with the minority investments and what some of the product roadmap pieces may look like if we look out 12 to 24 months.
Yeah, thanks, George. That's a great question. Look, the minority investments are for us to gain knowledge and participate in certain parts of the business so we can make better decisions for our consumers, i.e. block Damon. We get related with them and offer the staking on really competitive terms. The NFT investment, so we can start participating and understanding that space and how we can actually bring real value to retail consumers. Because everything about what we're trying to do over the next 12 to 24 months is to bring value to retail consumers and build a crypto ecosystem so that consumers, we become an app and a lifestyle app for consumers. So they're using our app to trade, invest, bank, commerce, and bring that all together through them as we continue to build out this ecosystem. And bringing all those pieces together allows crypto to be the base of that. That's why we're so excited about, a lot of these minority partnerships, because that we're going to get that knowledge, bring that into our business, and help consumers be successful, because we believe the whole financial future is based off of crypto and, USDC and Bitcoin and the rest of the currencies that we have.
As we look at some of the operational challenges you've had, I wondered if you could give us a better sense, because you've got a aspirational goal of being a customer service leader by the end of the year. Can you just tell us how do you get there in terms of people, and just give us some numbers that might be appropriate relative to that?
Yeah, we've already begun making changes and adding people to our service organization. But the key to it all is bringing more technology. And Dan Costantino, who's here with me today, is building out more technology along with Gerard Hanchey, our COO, in using technology to have service that enables consumers to be self-service, as well as have operators and reps to help them guide their way along the service and learn more in the crypto space. It's imperative as we build out, more and more people to help, handle all the tickets, but get technology to be the lead in this place. I've done that. I've been around before. It's another reason why having Pam Kramer on board as well is really important because we've done that on our early days at E-Trade, where we brought technology into the marketplace to handle service in a better way. So that's one of the ways that we're using, we expect to get ourselves to that leader in customer service.
Last question, if I could. You went from a negative operating margin to a 50% operating margin a quarter. I'm not sure if that's ever been done, but you also talked about potentially higher margins over time. Can you give us a sense of where you think the long-term model might move to?
Yes. Hi, Kevin. This is Evan. Thanks for the question. George. Thanks for the question. So I think in the short term, going forward, we expect similar operating margins as our cost structure catches up with our revenue growth. Over the longer term, given the scalability of the business model, we definitely see the opportunity for margin expansion now.
Okay, we'll take that. Thanks, guys. Great job.
Thank you, George.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Kevin Dede from HCW. Your line is now open.
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for taking my question. Steve, you gave us a great outline on the objectives that you've spoken to for the past 6 longer months, I guess, at this point. I was just wondering if you could zero in a little bit on timing, say, for the European expansion, the Canadian expansion, the consummation of execution with Rebellion, the New York bit license, all the objectives that you highlighted, or as much as you can speak to.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for attending. And I'll try to unpack all 4 of those items. The international expansion, first Canada, we're working closely with the OSC. But, we have such low-hanging fruit right now in the U.S. as we continue to grow, and we're building out and scaling the infrastructure to make sure that it's in the place where we want it to be. Way back in February, we said it was going to take us, give or take 4 months to get the platform into a really scalable, and we're getting closer and closer to that. So once we get there, Canada and Europe is next. We believe we'll be, get that exemptive relief with the OSC in the near future. We're already able to operate in Europe through the licensing, and we just want to make sure that we're bringing the best possible platform to those consumers and make sure that we have our service well on the way, as we said, to be a leader. So when we come to Europe on that. On the bit license side of the equation, we're working again closely with them. We think we're getting real close with the New York State. It's something that just takes time, as most of you probably know. I think they've given out 1 bit license the last 12 months, maybe 18 months. So again, we're making progress. On all 3 of those fronts, we're making progress. On the equities and market Rebellion, we have a clearing relationship in place. We're working towards getting that operational and getting the broker-dealer operational. No set time frame yet. But why we did the joint venture with them is so that, we have partners to help us build out the service and all the capabilities needed from an administration aspect. So we think we can get there faster with a partner. So we're hopeful that we'll get there in the near future as well.
So my understanding is, Steve, that trades execute T+3, but I guess, crypto's got to be converted to fiat in order to execute?
Yeah.
Can you sort of maybe highlight how you expect it to function?
I don't want to give away the secret so all my competitors can figure it out the same way as me. But this is where my 25 years of being in the equity space really helps and help building out E-Trade like I did many years ago, and then Lightspeed, is we have a plan on being able to execute, allowing consumers to execute from crypto to equities, and doing a lot of the stuff behind the scenes on our side with our infrastructure and our technology to make it a swift and easy change. So we expect to have that in place. That's part of our whole value proposition. And we've figured out ways with counsel on how to do it. And that's how we'll execute the game plan.
Okay. Maybe a little bit more on lottery.com, because that seems, I mean, taking your platform to commerce could be limitless. So could you just give us sort of an update on, where you're going and how long it's going to take you to get there?
Yeah, we have a plan in place to do that over the next, 6 to 9 months and bringing commerce into lottery.com. That's our first foray. That's the first vendor that we're working with on that. We agree with you. We think that the ecosystem is limitless when you get into payments, and we have a couple other things we're working on that I can't share right now. But, we do believe, and the ability of growing our customer base to where we said over 540,000 funded accounts, and in the press release, 1.6 million verified users, we're starting to grow a pretty big ecosystem that we can use that commerce to our advantage and allow people to use USDC and other cryptos as payment mechanisms. We're working closely with lottery.com to embed and make that work and allow consumers the first foray from Voyager into Voyager Pay.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Steve. That's all I've got for you for now.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Rich Repetto from Piper Sandler. Your line is now open.
Hi. Good evening, Steve. This is like deja vu with the E-Trade call after 5 o'clock here. I joined a little bit late, so I'm not sure whether you went over this or not. But if you did, I apologize. But with all this volatility that we're seeing in crypto prices, most recently over the last couple of weeks, I'm just trying to see, the trade-off between the volume versus the volatility. Crypto is dropped, but I would suspect, and if you've addressed this already, again, I apologize, but you're still seeing, tremendous upside from given all the turnover that's going on. If you could speak to that.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Rich. It's deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra used to say. Look, I think that the volatility in the marketplace has been really good for us and our business. We tend to say that on some of these days, I guess it was a couple of Tuesdays ago when Bitcoin dropped $9,000 or 25% in hours, was one of the best days we ever had. And I think that we're still seeing some volatility. We're still seeing people bring more money onto our platform every single day. They see an opportunity to buy a lot of these coins at what they see as significant dips. And if you harken back to when you and I first met 20 years ago, 2001, 2002, when the equity markets were so volatile, especially after 9/11, we saw those dips and we saw more money come in. And so we're seeing the story over again. And people believe and people think, and we believe that strongly, that this is the future, that blockchain and the cryptos are the future. And people are taking advantage of it and bringing more money on the platform and investing and buying assets on our platform. So we see the dip. It's, we like to see Bitcoin and the other coins up higher, but at the same point, we're seeing, net deposits on our platform, and our customers are net buyers. So we're seeing a lot of net buying from our customers too. So this is a really good time for us to be an agency broker.
Got it. And I think you mentioned that your spread widened in the quarter. I thought you said it was something over 100 basis points. I thought. Could you sort of speak to that, and what were the drivers of that? If I have it correct, the spread increasing.
Yeah, our strategy from day one was to have multiple coins, and our spreads on the altcoins are larger than the spreads on Bitcoin. Our Bitcoin average spread is significantly, less than 100 basis points. We're probably one of the industry leaders on the Bitcoin spread. But some of the other coins where we bring set price and liquidity to consumers, because we're looking at global markets, our spreads are a little bit higher because we have to access books, the level 2 books on the bid and the ask. So we have a little bit wider spread. And so when we have 85% of our trading come from altcoins, that's where we're going to make more of the money than we do on the Bitcoin or the Ethereum side of the world.
Understood. That's helpful, and congrats on the great profitable quarter.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Chris Brendler from D.A. Davidson. Your line is now open.
Hi, thanks, and thanks for taking my question. The excitement in the crypto market, is mostly a positive tailwind, but it strikes me that as companies that I follow a little more closely, like PayPal and Square and others in that realm, get more involved with their extremely deep, marketing and technology budgets, potentially close the gap. So how do you maintain your sort of superiority, and where are the barriers to entry in your model?
Yeah, look, and great question, and thanks for joining, is that, our model is a diversified coin model, and I think if memory serves me right, we did $5 billion, which we noted for the quarter ending March, which we did more crypto volume than Square in the quarter, when I look at their numbers. And so, we have a position as a leadership position in the alternative coin space. And we do get people in, and they come into our funnel because of Bitcoin and Ethereum. We also pay interest. And so the interest part of our model is extremely compelling for retail consumers. Our average account size tends to be higher than that. And so the barrier to entry here is everything that we've put together. I think people tend to think that it's pretty easy to get into crypto, but between the OMS that we've built, the smart order router, the books and records, the multiple custodian agents, the pricing engines, when you add all these pieces together, it's a pretty compelling enterprise value we've created. And then throw all the security layers and regulatory compliant layers on top of that, it's a pretty compelling enterprise value that we've created. And the fact that we can add more coins, and we're going to add more coins, will keep us ahead of people, because there's a tremendous value to having those coins. Consumers that are in the space want to buy Cardano or Chainlink. Everybody's got Doge now, but we've got more coins than that because we've gone to other avenues with all those other coins. So we just think keep bringing that, bring more products to the marketplace. And we also think that we're in a real early stages here, that there's a big opportunity, and the market TAM is quite large. So we could continue to be successful off of, just gaining market share both domestically and globally.
Yeah, that's actually my second question, is that it does seem like the market is huge, but it also seems like there's a bit of a first mover advantage that Voyager enjoys. How do you prioritize between some of your more tangential growth opportunities in your core business?
Yeah, great question. Look, we think that launching our debit card, I think our loyalty rewards program, we can't forget that. That is such an important aspect to everything we're doing. When you look at the competitive landscape, we have a loyalty reward program that I don't see anyone else doing. And it really helps us stay ahead because people want to use our platform. They're part of the community. The one thing about crypto and is about community. It's about generating loyalty through the community. We've been able to do that. 25% of our customers actually own the Voyager token. So we've built that loyalty and community that will help us expand when we go to debit cards and credit cards and loan products and equity trading. All those things, we've got that loyal community that we're building upon.
That's great answers. Thank you so much. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Joe Gomez from Noble Capital. Your line is now open.
Thank you. Great quarter, guys.
Thank you.
So, can you talk a little bit about what were the most traded altcoins in the quarter?
Yeah, we saw a lot of activity, not surprisingly. We saw a lot of activity in Doge. We saw a lot of activity in Cardano. Coins like Stormex, which I'm not sure if everybody knows, but Stormex has a relationship with Walmart. We're one of the only places in the U.S. that you can actually acquire and use and buy Stormex. Polkadot was another big one for us. Engine, because of the gaming aspect, are all big coins that we saw a lot of volume in. And it changes for us every day, every month. Coins can vary, and it depends on what, where there's volume and where people see opportunity, what press releases the coins and the foundations behind them all say. But those were the big ones for the quarter.
Okay, thanks for that. And then when you see countries like China talking about limitations or restrictions on the space, on cryptocurrencies, concerns about that trending over here to the U.S., or what are your thoughts on that?
Look, I think I was on multiple TV stations last week and speaking about this. I don't really believe anything I hear out of China. I think they still told us that they had like 2,000 coronavirus deaths. So, I think there's an alternative strategy to when they talk about things. I do think that there's going to be careful regulation here in the U.S. about it. I think there's you see a lot of information out there and things coming out of, IRS and FinCEN and so forth. And I think that's smart. I think when you think about FinCEN, there are rules in place. We need to know your customer, and you need to have anti-money laundering rules. And it's part of, effectively being a pseudo bank. And we abide by them. And that's all stems from the backgrounds we have of being in regulated businesses like E-Trade and Lightspeed, where we know how to operate in regulated, environments with KYC and AML. We think there will be some more thoughtful regulation about this and go forward, but I think there's a lot of ways away on how to regulate a market that's a global market rather than, the equity markets is all self-contained in the U.S. This is crypto. This is a global market, so it's got to be thoughtful regulation. But we see some of it. There's a lot of it in place already, and I think people forget that, and we have to abide by that, which makes another piece of this whole equation. When someone asked earlier about value, is that we have all this in place to make sure we can participate in this environment.
Thanks for that. And last one for me, you continue to grow the head count. How much more do you think needs to be grown, or do you have enough right now to support that goal of 10 million users?
We're expecting to, over the next 12 or so months, to double our head count. Like I said, we want to be the best in customer service. And that means adding head count. That means, adding technology, which means head counts in service, head counts in technology development. We want to keep adding to our security team, and we want to keep adding to the marketing team. So we think over the next 12 months, we're going to have to double our head count, but we also think the revenue is going to continue on growing with that as well.
Okay, thank you very much for taking my questions.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Chris Sakai from Singular Research. Your line is now open.
Hi, everyone. I've got a question on your AUM breakdown. I wanted to ask about, what, if you could shed some light there, and how has the AUM fared since the recent decline in Bitcoin and Ether?
Yeah, AUM fluctuates a lot for us based upon the declines. But, what's actually happened is, even though Bitcoin's down and all the coins are down and AUM might decrease, we're seeing net new deposits every day as well on the platform. And we're seeing the turnover by consumers just trading more. So AUM is not really the greatest number to look at as we grow, because we're seeing such turnover on the trades and activity by consumers. At the same time, we're growing consumers and growing net deposits from every customer as well. So again, I think 540,000 funded accounts, 1.6 million verified users, net deposits coming on every day. We're net buyers. We have yet to have a day, knock on wood, where we've had cash or crypto net outflows. It's all inflows. So we're getting more engagement, more consumers, more turnover. AUM is a nice number, but the guide for us is how valuable are the customers and how are they trading and how are they, earning some interest and really generating more trade and volume with us.
But so how has the recent volatility affected the account growth and the new number of accounts?
The volatility has been, again, as I said earlier, the volatility is our friend as an agency broker. More consumers are coming in. They're seeing opportunities to enter the market at a lower price for a lot of these coins. We're seeing net inflow versus outflow of 6-to-1 of cash and crypto coming in versus outflows. And more consumers are coming in, they're buying, as I said, net buyers, because they're seeing the opportunity. They're almost excited that they're seeing prices, where they were 3-4 months ago. It's an opportunity for them to get engaged into the marketplace. And so we've seen a constant account growth. It's been good for business.
Okay, great. And along those lines, how is it affected your interest rates?
Our interest rates have been staying pretty positive. As we've said to a lot of people, we net a little bit of money on the interest margins, but we use the interest as because of our revenue generation from the spread revenue, we use the interest as a way to engage customers and as a marketing tool for us. So our interest has been pretty static. The rates have been pretty static for us, and we expect that in the near future as well.
Okay, I guess last one from me. It looks like interest revenue is about 12% of the total, is this going to continue, or do you see any growth there?
When we roll out the debit card, we will see an increase in interest because more and more people will be holding USDC with us. But we've been guiding people to between 10 and 15% of our revenue being on the interest side. But once the debit card comes to market and people can then use the debit card to pay for everyday expenses and earn interest at the same time and make it really an interest-bearing checking account, we expect those numbers to increase.
Well, and just one more thing to add to that, as we talked about our partnership with Block Damon, I think you'll see us a couple things. One, add more coins to the platform earning interest. And also, at the end of March, we only had 17% went out. So we'll be able to continue to use our balance sheet a little bit more effectively in lending.
Yeah, and so to follow Evan on that, he's right. In the fact that we're staking will help us drive more interest. More coins will be available for interest in the near future on our platform. We'll be able to stake more coins. Our interest should go up off that too.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Dan Weiskopf from Toroso. Your line is now open.
Steve, great, and Steve and the whole team, by the way, great quarter. A lot of my questions have been asked, but just really kind of a passing question. Is there a way you can quantify how many or either percentage or in terms of numbers of your clients also have other accounts elsewhere?
Well, thanks for joining, Dan, and appreciate the support. And great question. It's hard for us to do that. We believe at this point we're starting to get more and more share of wallet from consumers as we see on the blockchain when people bring crypto into our platform. We see where they're coming from, and we believe we're getting a larger share of the wallet. But we do not know exactly how much they have elsewhere. But we are getting, our net crypto deposits are outweighing the crypto withdrawals. And so to our direct competitors, we're seeing net inbound rather than outbound for probably the top 3 or 4 competitors. We're seeing more inbound than we are seeing, leaving the platform.
Yeah. Well, good. Seriously, great. You guys continue to amaze me with your results. So thanks very much.
Thank you for the support.
You make it look easy, and it ain't.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Jeff Williams from U.S. Bank. Your line is now open.
Thank you, and congratulations on the performance this quarter. Steve, you mentioned regarding the Voyager loyalty program currently in process and expected to happen very soon. Could you shed any additional details on where that process stands and expected timing of the launch of the loyalty program and token swap?
Yeah, it's a good question, and thanks for joining, Jeff. The first piece of the swap is to work with the exchanges to make sure that that can happen. We're getting really close with the major exchanges to make it happen. As been expected, everybody's been really busy, but we have a great exchange partner, a primary exchange partner that's working with us in doing the swap, and so we think that'll happen in the near future with them. And then once that's done, that's when the Voyager loyalty program will take part. We already have pieces of it in place where we're giving away 7% interest on the Voyager token, and we're going to put pieces in place over time. So we think shortly after or sometime after we get the swap done and people can actually execute the swap, because I think they're going to have up to 30 to 45 days to execute the swap. Once they're done executing the swap, then the Voyager loyalty program should happen shortly thereafter.
Great, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. At this time, I am showing no further questions. I would like to turn the call back over to Steve Ehrlich for closing remarks.
Well, this was an outstanding quarter for Voyager, and we're really excited about what we accomplished, but this is just the beginning. We haven't stopped. We've just started, and we're super excited about what we've already accomplished through our fourth, the fiscal quarter ending in June, where we are almost 2 months into it. Our growth has really accelerated. We're excited about the future of Voyager, and we thank everybody. We thank our customers, we thank all our investors, and we thank everybody participating today for joining us as, we look forward to speaking with all of you in the near future. But thank you again, and we're super excited about our business. So have a great night.
This concludes